It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day and welcome again to the program. It is County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're happy to welcome back into studio Brian Bergner. And we've known Brian for an awfully long time, doing a number of things. And now he has been with, for how long now, Verde Valley Sanctuary for?
Just over a year now.
Over a year. Okay, I was going to say it's going to be right around that. So congratulations on that anniversary. And it sounds like things are working out because you're here to talk to us again today about the good work the Sanctuary does. And coming up on November 1st, the big fundraiser, the biggest, if not one of the biggest of the year.
Yeah, that's correct. It is our big fundraiser of the year. We don't typically do big fundraisers. As you know, we did the Spring Thrifty earlier this year, which is a great time. But this is our fundraiser of the year. It's our first ever casino night. And we're going to be doing it at Juniper Grill and Juniper Bar and Grill at the Sonoma Golf Resort this year in the Village of Oak Creek. And so we're really excited about bringing the fun, and just being able to give people a chance to interact with us, and we can talk mission, and we're going to have a lot of donors in the room. We're going to have a lot of community leaders in the room. And so we're really looking forward to that November 1st event.
Great. Big night. We'll bounce back to that before we wrap the show, but I want to, Verde Valley Sanctuary has been doing it in this community for a long time, and that is providing important, critical, frankly, services for those in need. But so to me, it seems ubiquitous with our area, but there's going to be people who don't know and aren't familiar with Verde Valley Sanctuary. Give me the 1 minute or the 2 minute. What are you? Who are you? What do you do?
So Verde Valley Sanctuary opened in 1994. We are a domestic violence shelter. So we have a 32-bed shelter here in the Cottonwood area, and then we have transitional housing.
Right.
And we help survivors. And when there's abuse in the home, and we're there to help. And so we have relationships with local law enforcement and other community groups and advocates. And if they need a place to get away and stay with someone, we have that capability.
Right.
We also have our lay legal and outreach group. And that is the group of advocates that deal with clients, our survivors that are lucky enough not to need to be in shelter, but they still need help. They still need that. Maybe they have a sister locally, a mom, a friend that they can stay with. And then our lay legal team will help them, guide them through the court system. So orders of protection, divorce, separation agreements. And a lot of times our clients need to face their abuser in court.
Right.
And so we're there. Our advocates are not lawyers. But they're there to support them. They're there to guide them. They can't offer legal advice, but they can help them. And those advocates are trained every year by local judges through the Superior Court to, give them, like, this is where you go file this paperwork, and this is how fast this needs to happen, and here's the questions the judge might ask you or ask your client. And so it's just, that is it's an all-encompassing thing. And then we, of course, have transitional housing. So usually we average about 150 survivors a year in shelter. The average stay actually went up. It was about 38 days last fiscal year. And then when we closed out 24-25, it was actually 54 days. So they're staying with us longer.
That seems like quite a bit to me.
Yeah, it was like a 13 or 14 day jump on average.
Can we account for that?
We assume it's just the market. The rent is high. People can't get a place to go. I mean, the average, we allow our survivors to stay with us up to 120 days. That's the program. It's what it calls for.
Okay.
And then they can apply for transitional housing.
Okay.
Transitional housing is a 2-year program with us. And we don't have a lot of space with that. But we do have an apartment complex in town that we own that we can, transition people into that. And then they do their 2 years, and it's a 30% rent kind of thing. So whatever kind of income they bring in, it's only 30% of their income. And if they haven't gotten a job yet, it's like $50 a month to stay with us. So we try to help them, transition away from the abuse, away from, into a new world. And a lot of that new world includes all kinds of things like new bank accounts, new phones, new email addresses.
It's hard for those of us
whole new thing.
It's hard for us who are fortunate not to have been touched by this curse. To really appreciate the breadth, depth, and scale of what you're just now describing. For these typically women, there are men too, but typically women many times sometimes mothers of very young children, even babies, that have to make a break. And people say, why don't they just leave him? And I get infuriated when I hear that.
It is very difficult.
And it's unbelievably hard.
80% don't want to leave most of the time.
Because of the dependence that the abuser often has put them.
Correct. And that is the abuse itself, whether it's financial abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, whether it's, we have a pet program, so we welcome their pets as well. Sure. Sometimes they abuse our survivor through their pets. They might kill the dog. They might harm the dog.
And I'll kill your dog.
Right, and so survivors won't leave their pet because it's their family. It's a family member. So there's a lot to it. They don't have financial resources to leave. They maybe they have children in the home, and they're more scared that if they leave, that the abuser will harm the children. So it is a multifaceted thing in terms of how a survivor decides to leave.
Yeah.
And then when they do make that decision, we're here to help.
I want to back up to something you said a couple of seconds ago about the courtroom advocacy and how important that is. Here again, just try to imagine that situation. You left this guy finally, perhaps in fits and starts. It took a lot of courage to get out of there, but you did. Now there are going to be legal proceedings because of things that have happened. You're going to be in that courtroom. He's going to be in that courtroom. The emotion, the drama, the having to go back in and go through that. I can't imagine how draining that could be on someone, to the point they may not even take advantage of the sanctuary because of the terror they're going to have to face reliving what's happened.
Absolutely. And sometimes the abusers will go as far as, if there's challenges to the separation agreement, challenges to the divorce, they will call to the stand the survivor, and abuse them and grill them, questions just to do it, just because they know they can and they feel like they hold that power. So it's quite an undertaking to remove a survivor and reset them and get them moving on the right path. And that's why when of course our thrift stores are there to help them too, in terms of the clothing and shoes, and like we were talking about off the air a little bit ago about decisions.
Right.
Making decisions as little as, what kind of shoes I want to wear today. Can I take a shower without having to ask permission? Yeah. Things like that. What should I eat today and not having to ask permission? Like, these are all little things that maybe you and I do every day that we don't think about. But when someone is chronically abused for years,
it rewires their brain.
It rewires their brain to the point where they can't make that decision without having anxiety and depression and things that they just can't get over. Yeah. And so, yes, they choose to try and stay potentially because it's more difficult sometimes for them at first to leave. And so it's just, that's why it's so important that the sanctuary is there. We're helping them. We're trying to guide them. And like we were saying with the court system, our advocates are not attorneys. They can't give legal advice, but they're there to support them. They're there to help guide them, to show them what they need to do and how they need to do it, and then to be there for that emotional support when they do have to face their abuser.
Yeah, that's huge. Then the legal people can focus on the legalese, and that other person who is there for that kind of comfort and advice is just critical. All right, we've talked about this many times, and I'm trying not to become repetitive about this and these problems. People know they exist, but sometimes to help us deal with things that are unpleasant, we don't think about them. And so when you come and visit, I do like to revisit these. We've talked here in our first segment with Brian about what the reason and the purpose of the Verde Valley Sanctuary is, why it's so necessary, and for 30-some years in the Verde Valley. We're going to continue to talk with Brian about what they're doing, where the solutions come from, why the upcoming fundraiser is so important. Our guest is Brian Bergner, Verde Valley Sanctuary, our topic today. We'll be back to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley. and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solar offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolar.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
As the days get shorter and the nights cooler, make sure your future is wrapped in the right protection. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686, located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
We welcome you back to the program. Again, our guest, Brian Bergner, Verde Valley Sanctuary, November 1st. Mark your calendars. Is there room left?
Yes.
Are there seats? Okay.
Yes, we are selling tickets,
Okay.
and we're trying to get people interested. So we've got 150 total tickets to sell. We're about halfway there. So we've got another couple of weeks. The venue would like us to give them a ballpark number by the 15th of October. So if you're interested, go to verdevalleysanctuary.org and click on the events tab, and you'll see Casino Night there. And that's where you can get your tickets, and it'll tell you all the information about Casino Night. And so this is going to be a fun, again, it's fake money. So your ticket purchase, we're selling them for $125 a piece. You get 2 free drinks, you get hors d'oeuvres, and then you get a $100 chip voucher.
Okay.
And that chip voucher you can turn in for chips, and then you can sit down, and we'll have blackjack, we'll have roulette, we'll have craps, and we'll have poker.
Sounds like fun.
It's going to be a blast. And so you can sit down, you can play, you can buy more chip vouchers throughout the evening if you'd like to continue to play.
Okay.
And so we'll have other things as well, like we have a Lucky Loot grab box, which will have $300 in cash in it. So you pay like $20 for 3 tries at that. We're going to have a glow-in-the-dark putt contest. So if you've ever been to the Sedona Golf Resort and the Juniper Grill there's the practice putting green is right outside, right by the fireplace.
Okay.
And because it'll be dark out, we've bought some glow-in-the-dark golf balls with actually a glow-in-the-dark flag.
Right on.
And you pay $20 for a try, and it's actually, if a few people get a hole-in-one throughout the evening, we'll just do a draw. But it's for a couple of Waste Management Open tickets down Scottsdale next year.
Oh, okay.
And that's the prize for that.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
So,
it's a great way to raise money.
And then
for
people can turn their chips in at the end of the night to buy raffle tickets for an iPad. So we'll have a drawing at the end of the night there. We're going to talk mission. We actually have a survivor that was in the sanctuary and that was in transitional housing. She's going to come in and tell her story.
Very compelling.
So we're excited about that. And so I've been working with her on how that's going to look and what it might feel like and what she needs, of course. And then we're going to have, of course, a paddle raise, and we'll have live music, during the event. And of course, it'll be an open bar after your 2 free drinks, and so it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a silent auction, of course. So I think I just saw Larry Fitzgerald signed 8x10.
Cool.
Like photo if you're into sports.
Fitz.
We'll have some tickets to like the NAZ Wranglers.
Okay.
They donated some tickets for us, and we're still working with like the Suns and the Diamondbacks to get some tickets. So we'll have like some sports things. We'll have some art. We'll have all kinds of different things that it'll hopefully kind of hit everybody's, what they might be interested in.
Get everybody excited. What a great way to raise money for such a good cause. Where does the money go? How, there's obvious things if you just kind of think about it for facility and upkeep and housing, feeding, sheltering, and those kinds of things. Are we developing, new programs as well? Is there additional outreach?
So all money that we raise goes to our programs.
Yeah.
we're largely funded by VOCA and state contracts.
Okay.
So when you hear about federal contracts, like in the administration,
Right.
some of them were recently canceled and things like that. Like some of those things are us.
Have you felt that
Luckily,
yet?
we have not felt that yet because
Okay.
we're a direct service. So
Well, I know a lot of them have also been delayed on the track.
and so
Until
there have
after
been
the
some delays,
midterms.
but so far we haven't lost anything.
Good.
But there were cuts. There were some cuts, but a lot of the VOCA and state stuff pays for our people. And
Right.
so when we raise money, when we bring money in from the thrift stores, all that goes back to the program, to the
Okay.
clients themselves, because that's what we need the money for. And so there's between our outreach, our lay legal group, and the fees. I mean, it costs. There are fees involved with lay legal stuff in terms of court filing fees. Like
Okay.
if you do a divorce, you do a separation agreement, those all cost money that we pay.
Right.
The clients don't pay for that.
Yeah.
So it's an all encompassing thing. When our food program costs us over $30,000 a year.
Sure.
I mean, we're feeding people in shelter, and so that has to come from somewhere. So,
Right.
so when we do these little fun, like a spring thrifty or, a casino night this year, and, when we do these kinds of things, it's because we're investing in our survivors and to help them, move on. And there are other things too, like our Safer Fund, that maybe there's utilities that need to be deposited or rent deposits, and they don't have it yet.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm assuming that the majority of, what do we say? I hate to say victims, but clients.
So usually survivors. We call them survivors
Okay,
because
good.
the victims are the ones that didn't make it.
Oh, boy.
Those are the ones that
gets me.
didn't get out. And so we call them survivors.
Okay.
They can be called clients. We
I
do
get
call
it.
them clients, but usually we stick with survivors.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's just, actively descriptive.
yeah. And so they have survived, they have moved on, and that's why, and that is what we call them. So, and that's our, and they're people like anybody else.
I'm assuming most of these folks come with very little, if any, kind of financial.
Absolutely, yeah.
Financial
and
stability.
like we just talked about in the last
Right.
segment, like they don't, if there was financial abuse, they don't have access to the bank account. Maybe their abuser has a bank account and their money went into it,
Right.
and that person doesn't have access to it. They don't even have a debit card. There's no way for them to move money. There's no way for them to do anything. So when they leave and they come to us, they might just have the clothes on their back, or maybe they have a backpack or two that they packed because they brought their 10-year-old with them, or their baby, or, it really depends. Every situation is different.
Every single
and
story.
So there's it's a multifaceted abuse situation in terms of it could be anything that's
Right.
going on.
But each of those situations really illustrates the whole, and that is that these are going to be folks that really need a lot of care, from feeding and shelter and all of the stuff you've already described.
Absolutely.
And that's where this fundraiser comes in, and that's where the thrift stores and all of those year-round can help support.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's
This-
really what we're doing. So, our thrift stores provide funding for the agency along with clothing, shoes, furniture. I mean, there might be a nice bed that we get or a dresser. So when a client does find an apartment and we can pay for them to have utilities, started up and pay their first month's rent and things like that. And then we can provide furniture, provide clothing. Cause again, they can't go back. They might not have anything.
Right.
And so
I think you said 35 beds. Have you been to capacity? I'm just wondering if
we're technically we're a 28 bed, but we can go to 32 if we need to.
Okay.
In my first year, we haven't had capacity, but usually we're in that low 20s. We're in the 20 range ish. And then we have, and that's just in shelter. And then we usually have anywhere from 8 to 12 people in transitional housing.
Okay.
And then we're usually serving another 100 plus in lay legal and outreach. And
you mentioned something before the show I'd like you to share with our listeners. I said holiday time can be very emotional on many levels for many families for many reasons. And I wondered if there was kind of a uptick in business, if you will, if more survivors reached out during holidays. And you said something interesting about what holidays
so what
reveal.
we see is that, yes, you are correct that there may be more phone calls to our hotline during the holidays because families are together, things get emotional, and it can be an issue. But the other thing that we also see is survivors want to leave and go back to their abuser because they can come together and want to be together during a Thanksgiving or a Christmas.
And the abuser might
they
be in
want
there
that.
working his quote unquote charm.
Right.
to
and so it's not just an uptick. Sometimes they want to go back because they want to have, like, especially if they have a child and they want their child to have a normal Christmas.
Right.
And it's not exactly a normal Christmas if you're in shelter,
And at the sanctuary, you can't and don't advocate one way or another. That's not why you're there.
That's not why we're there. We are about empowering our survivors. Right. We're about helping them, guiding them and helping them make decisions on their own. Because like I said, the decision sometimes as simple as if they can take a shower or not is a decision. And like I said, you and I maybe have no problem doing that, but they might. And so empowering them to make these choices on their own and being there to guide them either way and not judging them, and not being, being part of what they need and being part of the solution and not the problem.
Do you have, this might be a silly question, but do you have kind of I'm thinking like an outpatient service, meaning if someone finds themselves in a situation, can they come and consult with you without actually moving wholesale to the shelter or to the facility? Can folks reach out either in person or on the phone and say, listen, I'm in a situation. I don't know if I'm ready to leave. You know what I mean? Like counseling that way, or is
yes,
it not?
And our outreach group it works with our clients that are not in shelter.
Okay, I get it.
And like last week or 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call from a woman who was actually at work, and it was the safest she had been that day.
Okay, yeah.
And because my phone number is sometimes at the top of the list on our webpage, and they haven't been able to get to our emergency line, because again, our emergency line is there for people. And that helpline, in case anybody is interested, is 928-634-2511. And so they'll call me, and I'll answer the phone. I'm the first person to answer, and then I get them to outreach and help them along that way. And usually just making sure they're safe first, and then going from there. And so, yes,
Gotcha.
Our outreach group is the group that deals with the clients that are not necessarily in shelter or they have a place to go, but they still need our help in navigating getting out of an abusive situation.
I have to be worried a lot of them before they even come to you with some good understanding of who and what you are going to be afraid about being revealed to their abuser.
Absolutely.
No matter where they go.
And, and it's just, it's a terrifying thing. They don't want repercussions for reaching out. And that's why we take steps. So like when you go to verdeValleySanctuary.org, it's an immediate, it erases, when you click off of it, it immediately erases it from your history in your browser.
Gotcha.
When we, like one of the rules that we have, one of the things that we have with our people is when we make a phone call because someone has reached out, like we don't leave voicemails.
Sure.
And like our phone number is blocked. So there's certain steps that we've already taken
security
to kind of to keep those people safe, because they are likely the abuser is going through their phone.
Right.
They are going through their browser history. They're going through who they're texting or calling. And so we try to make sure that those, covering it on our end so that they're not aware, so that they feel safe, at least trying to reach out and get help.
Okay. Brian, I'm so appreciative of you coming in, sharing your time with us, and of the work that you and the Verde Valley Sanctuary do. It's truly a blessing to have you in that facility in this community. Our guest today, Brian Bergner. Again, November 1st, going to be Casino Night, Juniper Bar and Grill, Sedona Golf Resort, and they still have tickets available. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide. We'll see you next time.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology, factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
As the days get shorter and the nights cooler, make sure your future is wrapped in the right protection. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686, located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.